YouTube, hello, HeirofCarthage here, your narrator of the end times, and we are back in the Archaon, the Ever-Chosen campaign. The action will continue. I'm honestly a little bit scared to be invading Ulthuan right now. Sigvald's army is no Archaon's army. Archaon's army has all these magical attacks, physical resistance, ward saves, chosen, all these things that would help him against the High Elves. If the High Elves come against me fielding Phoenix Guard and Sisters of Avalorn in any significant numbers, we're dead. But hey, that's part of the fun. We're going to make it a challenge. Anyway, let's get things started off on this episode like we usually do by recapping a few of the high points from the comments of the last episode. And I'm going to start with Terhilius, who once again brings us a fantastic story to add to the lore of the campaign. Now, this story takes place during the battle on the last episode, where Sigvald has to defeat the giant High Elf army led by Tyrion. Sigvald cut his way through the ranks of Phoenix Guard, his blade easily finding the weak points within the heavy armor of his foes. The grim-faced elves did not scream as they died, something which irritated the champion of Slaanesh. After all, the effort he had made to cut his way through Bretonnia and brave the dangerous waters around Ulthuan, the least these vermin could do was shriek a little. Right before him, he saw a High Elf champion gleaming in his magnificent armor, while his burning blade beheaded another troll. Screaming with glee, Sigvald charged at him. Soon, Sliverslash met Sunfang, both too quick for any of his nearby warriors to follow. The Prince of Chaos giggled like an excited child. Now, this, I'm outside of the story. This I can see. This sounds like Sigvald. Pleased that he finally had found a foe worth defeating. Just then, he moved back to prepare for another assault. Sigvald saw the large shadow covering him. Like Tyrion, he looked up, and his eyes widened. No, you fool, he's mine! The giant's huge weapon sent Tyrion, protector of Ulthuan, flying into the air like a ragdoll. Sigvald watched, his jaw dangling low, as his opponent became just a tiny spot in the air. While the battle raged on, Patchy ran to join him, his armored hands glowing purple as he unleashed the winds of death on the foes of chaos. The vermin flee, my lord. Finally, we dealt with those annoying arrows and can do some proper fighting. Let's press forward, and... He was my kill, shouted Sigvald as he turned to Patchy, his face red with anger. Were you the one who let that giant interfere? Patchy gulped. My lord, I thought you needed assistance. Me? Assistance? Sigvald cut the head off a wounded Phoenix Guard, who had been sneaking behind him to stab him in the back. You really think that? Well, I think your face looks like a butthole. Wait, what? Patchy looked at his master's gleaming mirror shield, and his dark heart sinking as he realized the truth behind his master's words. And so Chaos won that battle, though neither of its commanders appeared too happy about it. Patchy's face does look like a butthole, people. It's true. Nice story, Terhilius, thank you. A couple of other comments that came up. One was, why aren't the spear-wielding elves called spear elves instead of spearmen? Waited a long time for this comment. Amazing series. Well, thank you for the comment. That was Nemean Rex, or Nemean Rex, if I can say it right, which I probably won't, but I don't know, good question. Corvin says you renamed a Shaggoth. Renamed the Shaggoth named Vermin Stomper, who was honored for defeating several thousand Ratmen hordes. This is true. I did rename him, but I did like the 7 Deadly Sins, and I was already short of Shaggoths for Deadly Sins, so I renamed him. But we'll know that they stomped vermin. Uncle Bob says Sloth is actually a very good match for Dragon Ogres. Their ancient pact with the Chaos Gods makes them immortal, but they slumber beneath mountains until a lightning storm wakes them. Huh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So thanks for the bit of insight. So, in keeping with that, I do believe that I did come and name one of my... Yeah, see, I named one of the Dragon Ogres Sloth here. So, we took care of it. So folks, that'll do it for the comments for the last episode. Please continue to comment. I read every last one of them. I love those comments, and there is huge participation, and I very much thank you for that. If you like the video when you're done watching this one, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more, you can hit the subscribe and the bell so you get notified. But yes, if you do enjoy the video, I know it's a very small thing, it may not seem like a big thing, but if you hit the like button and you're commenting, it helps this video climb up in the trending, and we can help more people join in on the apocalypse. So for those of you who do that, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's continue. So some of you pointed out that I do not have military access with the Cult of Pleasure. That's good to know.
I have a great many things to see to.
I guess I just thought that you get it automatically. Become vassal, break military defensive. I think we do have military access. There's no way for me to ask for it. Are we really trespassing?
I watch from the shadows.
I don't get it. It says we're trespassing.
What is it you see?
Am I blind?
I am most intrigued to hear.
Break military access. So we can break a military access. I can ask them to break military access. I don't think we can ask for military access. Am I missing something? Become vassal. Cancel vassal status. Yeah. I don't think I can ask for military access. Not much I can do about it right now. Yeah, if I'm missing something, please let me know, and I guess I'm a dunce if I am, but I sure don't see it. Good call out. I'm just not sure what I can do about it at the moment. Looks like we need to end a turn. Manfred must have come back to finish off my newly awakened vassal. Oh, it's Helman Gorst. It's gonna be annoying. Let me look at the two armies that I have. I mean, this army's probably, I don't know, boy, if we get into it with the Chaos Army, this army right here is, or a Norscan army, which I don't think we'd have to. Let me look at the battlefield again. That army I have there with Felman is not going to be great versus a lot of vampires. I mean, it might work. I guess the problem that I'm running into is that every time I kill the vampires, they just swing in behind me and I'm running around in circles trying to finish them off, which is fairly annoying.
You have my favor.
Norska is not doing so well over here. They need to be dealing. They need to be dealing with Vlad. And Vlad is a big problem. Plus, I want to be pushing south so I can try and finish off the dwarves, which is one of my campaign objectives. Remember, here's the campaign objectives. This is how we win. Bretonia, dwarves, Lothern. The Empire is gone. So, that is the remainder. I just want Norska to be full of allies to help keep this resettling thing from going on. So if I can fill Norska full of allies, we won't suffer all this issue as we reconquer.
Now is chaos. The mountains call.
Okay, I'm gonna move Kolek forward. And same thing with Felman. And I'm just gonna keep laying waste to as many of these vampire settlements as I can. We've got to get rid of some of these factions, and I feel like we need to help awaken some more tribes in the north. If we could, it would certainly help. Alariel has taken up position. Oh boy, look at the... Okay, Eagle Gate was taken by Crone Hellebron. So Alariel's taken up position at the Unicorn Gate. Alithanar has an army of my nightmares. Defeating this army would be near impossible. especially if he were reinforced by Yertle, whatever this is.
Unwise.
And then there's Aurelius behind him. We're going to leave Marathi to it, and I'm going to head south to Tor Enrock. I've got to make some inroads against the High Elves. I cannot just plow headlong into those armies, as much fun as that would be. So I'm going to head south with Sigvald. We have a few units that are close to hitting their 9 chevrons. If they do, I'm allowed to turn them into Chosen. Now, some people said, Air, you should just turn them into Chosen because you need them for this invasion. That I do. I do need them for the invasion, but that's too easy. And we're sticking to the theme here. And that was part of the rules that were given to me. If Sigvald and Patchy, the minions of Archaon, fail, then the Dark Lord himself will have to come to Lothern to set things right. But they're given their opportunity to serve, and we'll see whether or not they can do so successfully. Meanwhile, Bretonia hasn't even offered up the least bit of resistance, which is more than pathetic. The only reason I can imagine we go ahead and make a second army for Archaon at this point is just so that he can more quickly wipe out the remainder of these Bretonian pathetic fools. Yeah, let's get Scarred Veteran. Lord of the End Times gives him extra leadership size, which is cool, and someone wanted me to do that just for the theme. I've only got so many points left, though. I want to spend it on these first, and then I will get Lord of the End Times just for the sake of theme. And then up here in the north, we have already moved. All right, we're ready to destroy more vampire settlements. This one will be no exception to the previous ones that are barely worth their time, as the vampires are doing anything they can in a desperate bid to stay alive. I am actually going to go ahead and split these armies. There is some risk in this, but I'm tired of these vampires just coming along behind me resettling. I'm going to wipe them out. We're going to put an end to this plague of vampires once and for all. As much as is necessary, I should say. Extra missile resistance certainly wouldn't hurt the Dragon Ogre. But I'm going to go with this hard to hit. Melee defense is just such an important stat on a unit.
Dominance.
Dominance indeed, Archaon. Dominance indeed. There's a bit of a garrison at Blackstone Post. About the same at Castle Baston. We're going to have to destroy... Look at this, they've just settled all over the place. Bretonia just trying to settle in and make themselves at home. There is a Woolric Crow Brother. There's a rebellion up here near Salzenmoon. I don't know if it will succeed. So many vampires. So, I think we should probably make another army for Archaon. Not necessarily to just march next to him, because obviously that makes things too easy. But we probably need to make a second army here, just so that, and let's go ahead and, we don't need to recruit, let's go here, recruit a lord. And this isn't going to be named after the character that was brought up, not in the last episode, but the one before, I believe. So I'll make sure we get the name right here. So the name that was requested was Vardek Krom. And it was because of some lore, and that was suggested by Maro Ferrari. So I'm gonna do that. So we don't need another butt face, I guess, like a sorcerer. I think we're looking for an actual Chaos Lord. We have 2 available to us. We've got this one here, which has extra armor, melee attack, and weapon strength. That kind of fits with what was being looked for. And then we have Discipline, which is more of a buff to the whole army. I think we'll go to the one who's more of the individual champion, because it sounds like that's the way the lore went. So I'm going to recruit Valmir here, and we're going to rename him. And And let's do this. I need to swap all my units over to him so that I can recruit at least almost all my units. Encampment. Appius has a skill point that we can add. Finished wound. We finished everything along that tree, so let's finish scouting, which gives him more chance of forcing a magic item to drop. And Sextus has leveled up too, slightly slower than Appius because of all the injuries. You know how it is with him. Let's finish Devastating Charge, now that we have finished Woundmaker and Scarred Veteran. We will indeed make him devastating. Let's get into the recruitment here. So for Vardek's army, I mean, he's a Herald of Archaon. He's following in the paths of Archaon, so he's certainly going to have Chosen available to him. So I'm going to start with that as kind of a base. Thinking 4 of those, 2 great weapon, 2 halberds. That gives a nice solid base to the army. And then trying to think what other things fit in here. I'm thinking some knights would be good. These are all regiments for now, which is why we can't recruit them. So let's go back here. A couple knights with lances, a couple knights. I would like Hell Cannon. That was one of the suggestions, and I haven't perfectly followed the suggestion that came from the requester. I guess I can't recruit Hell Cannons with this army. We can get him the Regiment of Renowned Hell Cannon for now. We need to get those Hell Cannons back into Sigvald's army, because that would be very helpful against archers. Very helpful, and especially against those high-tier infantry that the elves can field. So, let's think about how we finish off this army. Wouldn't hurt to have some kind of monster-type support as well. We're going to have some heroes, so let's think here. There's 15 units in total, so that'd be 13 in total without Archaon and Sextus, but then that would put it back to 14 with Vardek, which means I can have 6 more units. I probably want at least 1 more hero in his army. Maybe 2. So that'd put us up to 16, have 4 more units. I'm thinking like a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth to support large fights, a Giant to support against infantry fights. And let's go to that point, and we'll figure it out from there. As far as Archaon goes, we probably should go ahead and recruit the heroes to support Vardek. You guys can help me name these heroes. I'm gonna recruit this Exalted hero.
Now is my time.
He's got quite a few levels to start with here. We'll start off with training. And in case we need him to do some assassinating, fill out Specialist and Assassinate. That way he can help protect Vardek. And then let's go back to Archaon. Recruit another hero. Let's get him a Sorcerer. And I'm kind of thinking, let's get Vardek a Shadow Sorcerer.
My magic is yours.
And let's start mystifying miasma, pendulum, withering, enfeebling foe. We'll just start unlocking some different spells. Okay, so that'll be a good start for Vardek Crom. We need to actually name him.
Yes, my ruinous powers.
Vardek Crom. Archaon's Herald. There we go. Helm of Discord would be a good start for him. Brass Cleaver. Help those around him. Yeah, I mean, this one would be good too, but let's do Brass Cleaver. It helps those units fighting around him be stronger. Kind of plays that. This one would be a good one for a duelist, the Potion of Strength. Income from post-battle loot. research rate, extra chaos corruption. Let's start with that. So we've got Vardek geared up a little. And that just leaves us to Sigvald and Patchy, who are near ready to attack Tor and Rock.
Let's be about this. Yes.
Okay. Good. Felman's army can build all the way up to the Ruinous Warhost. That'll allow me to build whatever I want at this point in his army, which is good news indeed. Let's see. So Besornling levels up. Probably want to keep working on these over here. Alright, so Crone Hellebron was defeated by Alariel the Radiant and Tyrion. Their armies are weak, though. They're left in a weakened state. It depends on if they get the full garrison of the Eagle Gate. I don't see any garrison at the moment because they just conquered it.
Absolutely.
And I don't know that Tyrion is close enough to reinforce. So this may be a good time for us to strike a huge blow because Alethanar is packing. He's packing a serious army here, and we'll want Alariel and Tyrion as out of the way as possible. So, and they're even already, they've recruited a princess at Tor and Rock. So we could defeat Tor and Rock, but that gives the Eagle Gate a chance to reinforce, which I don't want.
You have my promise.
I think that, yes, Tyrion will reinforce. Let's see what this battle looks like.
Chaos.
Oh yes, this is a battle that we want. We're going to encircle. If we take this battle now, take Alariel and Tyrion's armies out of the fight, break into the inner ring of Ulthuan, we'll still have to deal with Alethanar, who is a force to be reckoned with. But this will give us a chance to maybe get a leg up here over what are, honestly, this is the kind of army and garrison that will absolutely defeat us. Sigvald cannot have a hope of defeating that kind of army with his. The elves are just superior in that respect. Alright, the battle for the Eagle Gate has begun. There was some somewhat annoying Sisters of Avalorn on the walls, so I've sent out Besornling to welcome them, and they summoned an eagle for his trouble. I'm sure that eagle's a welcome sight for those sisters who are being gutted by Besornling. He's a pretty powerful character. Here's Tyrion. His army is significantly weakened, fortunately, but he is not weak. Tyrion is incredibly powerful. In the campaign, he gets significant buffs. If we take a look at some of the stats, I mean, let's just, I'm going to pause it here just so you can get a look at the stats here. 155 armor, 115 leadership, 96 melee attack with magic and flaming attacks, 77 defense, 687, 454 of which is armor piercing, and a 99 charge bonus. Yeah, 10% ward save, 13% physical resistance, 25% missile resistance, 70% resistant to fire, 30% magic resistant. Yeah, this guy is going to be more than a little bit tough. More than a little bit tough. So, anyway, we're going to have a fight with him. He could easily 1v1 Sigvald and win, even with his healing. We got the two Flamespire Phoenixes here making their way towards Besornling, no doubt. And then Alariel is going to actually hang back away from the front lines. You can see some of the reinforcing troops of Tyrion here, his much depleted Phoenix Guardsmen and Swordmasters making their way towards the Eagle Gate in order to try and defend him. Now, I pulled back with Besornling, not wanting it tangled up with two Flamespires. The Eagle dies, but then the two Flamespire Phoenixes decide to land amidst a very dangerous situation. And I'm able to jump in and pounce on them quickly while all my warriors start raising the ladders. and climbing the walls. We got the Everwardens over here who are going to come up and face the Scions of Mathlon. Very awesome looking spear unit, by the way. Look who it is, folks. It is Crush Skull Foe Stomper. He is looking like he's ready to stomp some foe. Of course, he takes his time. He's not in any hurry. Wow, look at the scenery here. Too bad I gotta ruin it. These trolls are gonna bust this gate down, and the elves' defenses on this flank are non-existent. So all of my Forsaken and chariots will be able to roll into the city. So my troops have made it onto the walls, and the Scions of Mathlon, I guess, fled? Yeah, oh yeah, they fled after taking a pretty significant beating. The Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers are working some magic. There's another summoned eagle here. It's going to take a little more than eagles, though. The Mirror Guard has hit the walls. They're going to be up against some Sword Masters. That is a tough match for them. And I don't know why in the world my camera just did that. But we're also going to be up against these Phoenix Guardsmen. I do have Warriors and Chosen up there. And now all of my Halberds and Sigvald are bashing down the gates. Now on the other side, the gates quickly fell. And a unit of Sword Masters has quickly fallen victim to all the monsters. Just look what's flooding in through the gates over here. This beautiful settlement being desecrated by the disgusting creatures of Patchy the Eversalt. Just pouring in like a plague. For those Chaos fans, I'm sure you like this. Now on this front, Crush Skull and Sigvald have popped through, and because of the strong nature of Tyrion, I make sure that he gets introduced to Crush Skull. Because honestly, if I tried to take him out with Sigvald, Sigvald would get owned. You can see that Sigvald was being owned by Tyrion. Now that was with the other units around, and look what Tyrion did to Sigvald. But of course, with Crush Skull Foe Stomper around, we're able to soften him up. And this time, to satisfy Sigvald's ego, based on the story you all heard at first, Patchy orders Crush Skull away and allows Sigvald to go for the finish. But even still, he keeps the help of his halberdsmen close, because he's probably going to need it. And the prince is going to once again fall. Probably not the last time either. Look at this. Just get a load of this shot right here. Just for you, folks. Just for you. The Sornling is going back to challenge Alariel, and Alariel is having to dive into combat. She does have some of her last sisters, the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, but my chariots have broken through. My trolls getting into combat. Alariel's few remaining troops are in big trouble. The Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower gets hit by chariots, and Alariel's a beautiful eagle. It's being attacked. She's definitely going to have to wash her hair after this one. Be a few blood stains. Things are not looking good for the Ever Queen and her prince. She's going to use the Star of Avalorn here, and it will help her maintain her health for at least a short period of time. But it's her reinforcements who are falling. The Everwardens and the Gorebeast chariots mercilessly tearing down the armies of Lothern, the combined armies of Lothern and Avalorn. So Alariel is about to rout, and her remaining troops here next to the edge of the map are about to rout. It's too bad they can't defend this giant staircase back up here. That'd be crazy. Crazy battle. Just look at this. Here comes a Phoenix on his reinforcement. I don't know why it came so late. Let's get a view of the city here. Oh my goodness. I want to move to Lothern. I can handle that. Well, we gained an epic victory over Alariel and Tyrion, but let's be honest, it's because they were significantly weakened and didn't have a garrison, so this was definitely a target of opportunity. As much as I take pride in my armies of chaos, Sigvald and Patchy in their current state are no match for those armies. Maybe if I get a few hell cannons, we can then provide the type of bombardment necessary. Thinking like 3 hell cannons maybe, we might start to be a danger to their armies. So we're going to loot and raise the Eagle Gate. It won't be worth much money to us because Crone Hellebron already did it.
The Asso will rise
But this
again.
punches a hole in the Aesir defenses and leaves us with some replenishment and a good opportunity to strike into the heart of Oathwan through the open door now left. Let's go ahead and get the upgrades done here. We can't yet get Immortality. That is, I think comes at rank 20, which we'll want for sure. Plague of Rust could be very good actually when fighting big groups of Phoenix Guard or Sword Masters. That could help our units do considerably more. So I think that we're going to be okay here for this turn in. We still have Alethanar and his insane army to deal with, but that army now appears to be a little bit more alone. And like I said, this will have struck a pretty devastating blow to take out those 2 legendary lords for at least a couple of turns. And that should leave us in a good place to get this turn wrapped up. Kolak is going to swing back around to Zoishank, Fort Ostrosk, and Prague. I'm going to destroy all 3 of those. Let's see, make sure I got his army selected right. Something felt funny there. Come on! Move it, you giant ogre. And then over here... Yikes. Yeah, this is exactly what I worried about. So now Helmendorst has combined forces. I don't know if those forces are any good, is the question.
Do not mock me.
Manfred has a dragon.
Now is chaos.
This army is not particularly well suited to defeating a dragon. We could deal with a large amount of infantry, but we had best best watch our step with Felman here. Felman's army might be better suited to taking out these weak settlements, to be honest. And I may turn the Sun Eater around and deal with these 2 because his army should be able to do so easily. We'll see. Alright, Vardek Krum can move, but there's no need for him to at the moment. He's not ready. So we're going to skip him.
Looks this way.
We'll get Vardek's associates into his army here.
There is only war.
Or whoops, I put Rel into the wrong one. I don't want to disband him. I just want to move him. I put both of those guys into the wrong army because we don't have room for him at the moment. Let's end our turn. Alright. We're ready to take on another one. Sword of Cain claimed. Oh, I want that sword. I think the lizard men have it right now. I really want that sword. It'd be great to destroy the High Elves with that sword, but it is not currently available to me. Oh, I'm trying to think about how we go about this here. I'm thinking maybe we swing north, cause some damage as we go.
Now they will see true power.
We could potentially get trapped here.
Promise.
We're not going to, by any simple means, break the economy
I suppose.
of these elves. They will remain quite strong. We can recruit hell cannons with Patchy's army. I don't know if that's available to me as Sigvald. It is. We really need to recruit hell cannons. And quite honestly, these aspiring champions are going to do very little for me in these fights. So I'm going to boot them and replace them with hell cannons, as that is a far more appropriate unit if I can click the right thing. So leaves us stranded for 2 turns, though.
Revenge.
It's gonna be dangerous, folks. It's gonna be dangerous. It's gonna depend on what Alethanar does. That may not have been the best decision.
Yes, my ruinous powers!
I'm gonna push
Never
Felman
stop.
towards Zoishenk, and I'm gonna turn Kolek around and march back towards the vampires, who may be tough for Felman to defeat, potentially, but will be no problem for Kolek to maul both of their armies. Kolek doesn't even have a sorcerer, he just pounds people. It is pretty impressive. Meanwhile, Archaon is just helping to get the other army recruited. We do have a Bretonnian army. We may finally be opposed by the not-so-chivalrous knights of Bretonnia.
Destruction for all. I'll slaughter in your name.
Cocoa Pox deserves a skill point from us. I think we'll unlock Purple Sun. Ambusher discovered. Vlad von Karstein. Yeah, I don't know how we discovered him, and it's not relevant. Okay.
I am mountain god.
The von Karsteins are full-on running from Kolek.
It shall be. Unleash chaos. Give me lightning.
Yeah, Manfred is fleeing south, and Helman took off north because they want nothing to do with Kolek. And I can't say I blame them.
Kill them all.
Shield of Talos. Okay.
There.
Let's check on Ingerson's. Let's check on his equipment. Warrior Bane. Yeah, this is fine for now. So those two are fine. I was hoping to get a big battle against 2 vampire stacks here, but like I said, I can't exactly blame the von Karsteins for not wanting anything to do with that fight. No one who's sane would. So let's think about it. When this army gets transferred over, it'll have 15 units. There'll be 3 in total, so 18. So I need 2 more units to round out the army for Vardek.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what 2 units do that well. What 2 units would do that well? How about a couple of Manticore for now? Feral Manticore can be a bit fickle, but would be entertaining. Give us a speedy element, able to cause terror, and help rout armies quicker. Alethanar repositioned and puts him within striking distance, but I do have to kind of stand my ground and await battle. I've got to get these hell cannons sooner or later, and it's now or never at this point.
Red ruin on them.
No need to move this army,
What is thine?
or him, or him. We have finished our research. Weapon strength for Spawn, Forsaken, this will all be good. We have many of these units in a couple of our armies. Well, folks, the battle of my nightmares is gonna happen. We have to deal with 3 armies of High Elves. They are well equipped. We're going to have to deal with 2 Sun Dragons. 3 Flamespire Phoenix, 2 Frostheart Phoenix, a lot of elite infantry. Our only hope here is that we're being attacked from multiple sides, and we might be able to wipe out their reinforcements before it's convenient, but let's see. This is probably going to be the most epic battle of the campaign up to this point, the Battle of Whitefire Tor. No doubt Terhilius will have something to write about this day, whether it is about the defeat of Sigvald, or whether it's about his epic victory. We are up against no small number of elite elf troops. There's going to be a moon dragon, a Sun Dragon, 2 Frostheart Phoenixes, 1 Flamespire Phoenix, and then there's reinforcements already headed in from both flanks. And then as far as cavalry goes, there's 3 Dragon Princes as well as the Fireborn. They're led by Alethanar. You can see here there's at least 4 Phoenix Guardsmen. There's Swordmasters, there are White Lions, and there will be even more reinforcements. Look, there's another Sun Dragon and Flamespire Phoenix. 2 Flamespire Phoenix coming in, so we are up against a hideously powerful force here. There's reinforcements. Let me just give you the overhead view right before the combat starts to kind of show you where everything's coming from. I've grouped up Patchy the Eversalt's army. He was coming on. Sigvald will be on his own, and so I figured the best strategy at this point is to just go all in to Alethanar's army and hit him hard, fast, and do as much damage as possible, and then swing in from behind here through the lake with Patchy's army. And our goal is that we have to be quicker than these reinforcements. So you can see the reinforcements coming from the flank. We're going to have to do mortal damage to Alethanar's army if my strategy is to work. And let's see if indeed it does work. The lines are going to clash. All of the High Elf flyers are landing, and the Sisters of Avalorn start unloading their armor-piercing destruction. And Sigvald gets caught up against a Frostheart Phoenix and a Sun Dragon. His clothes may not get dirty, but his health is. He's already down to half health near instantly. Now, I have a few Chosen and some Everwardens here in the middle that will do pretty decently, all things considered, against this High Elf infantry. You can see I'm using my cavalry combined with some of my infantry to start hitting all of these large units. We've done a lot of damage to one of the Sun Dragons. We're already starting to intercept Dragon Princes. I'll be chasing them with cavalry and trolls, supporting with infantry to just try and overwhelm. The AI are cycle charging jerks. They constantly charge and retreat their cavalry, and they do the same with their flyers, so they're going to be running away as much as possible. Now, early on, I tried to use a final transmutation. I did a little bit of damage to one of the Frostheart Phoenixes, but it flew off right after I cast it and kept it from also working on a dragon and another Phoenix. I intended to use it because it was going to affect all 3 units at once. Now, the reinforcements from the elves start to arrive over here, and I'm going to intercept them with my Chaos Warriors. All I need to do is hold. The damage is being done now. Patchy's army has arrived on scene. And you can see here that we're taking out the Sisters, and we're just swinging in with all of our monstrous units. We're tying down all of their monsters, chasing them with overwhelming force. So despite their individual power, and you can see here that Crushed Skull has already taken down 1 Phoenix, and he's not afraid to take care of more. The Fireborn continue to try and cycle charge me. The same thing with all these other Dragon Princes, and the High Elf reinforcements from this side are quickly making their way towards me. So the lake bed is becoming an absolute killing field. Alethanar's army is being significantly weakened. My chariots are now running absolute mercilessly all over the elves. This Sister of Avalorn back here is going to be attacked by Besornling. This unit, or this ball of infantry, though, is going to overpower my Chaos Warriors. I've got a misclick right here. There's a lot going on in this battle. I end up controlling it as good as I can, but there's obviously a lot of room for errors. If we look at the power bar, I'm still actually slightly below half on the power, but we are making significant progress. I've got Crushed Skull, and he is in crushing Alethanar's skull as we speak. So I'll show you Alethanar. He is trying to stay clear of the massive giant, and he'll want nothing to do with that, of course. You can see that I'm continuing to chase dragons and Phoenix units in the background in an attempt to do everything I can to keep those units dead, but it is difficult. They continuously come back. Here's Patchy and the Kentucky Friar cheering on their troops. They're going to get involved momentarily. They've already been using some of their special abilities, and I'm saving up for one final transmutation. Yes, I know that sounded like a repeat. Well, Alethanar just got dropped by Crushed Skull. Whew, that's gonna hurt. So you can see that most of the Dragon Princes have been defeated, but more Dragon Princes came on with the reinforcements, and I pulled back my units that were operating on this flank to try and put some distance between myself and all that Phoenix Guard, and I've set up a secondary line here to hold off that cavalry. we're now being savaged by an Eagle Claw bolt thrower from both flanks, which has become very annoying. On this flank, this infantry blob, remember, that was tearing me apart, it's still tearing my men apart, is going to need some reinforcements pretty desperately. Some of my infantry over here is about to be freed up, but in the meantime, I'm hitting this with my Gore Beast chariots as hard as I can and cycle charging thoroughly in order to ensure that this infantry takes a beating, and it does. It works. So I'm able to rout a couple of the Swordmasters. The Phoenix Guards, not so easy to rout. Crush Skull killed Elithanar, and now has come back to finish off some Phoenix Guard. Animation is a little bit messed up, but he's getting the job done. One of the last Frostheart Phoenixes is fighting near the end of its life. It's going to rout. There is a unit of Sisters of Avalorn that is creating havoc for me, but they're about to be visited by some rather ugly fellows who are pretty tired of these armor-piercing magical arrows raining down on the armies of chaos. So the Sisters are about to find themselves in a vomitrocious fight. And despite their bravery, they're going to be in a bad place. The final transmutation comes in, and the infantry of the elves starts to take a beating, and now you can see the power bar sliding quickly towards the favor of Sigvald. This infantry pocket's wrapped up. Crushed Skull is now free, and these infantry become the last hope of the High Elves. I'm getting real tired of that Eagle Claw bolt thrower, and the Sornling's going to go take care of it. The other one on the other flank is about to be dealt with by cavalry. A few Dragon Princes and another Frostheart Phoenix is being dealt with there. But at this point you can see my chariots moving in to go for the final blow. The High Elf leadership is beginning to waver because of the death of all of their lords. These are very elite troops with very high leadership, but they've lost their lords, they've lost significant numbers of their army, and they're now about to be rear-charged by some of the most elite chariots and knights in the armies of chaos, and they go ahead and decide to flee before that even happens. But they are too late. There is no fleeing. The forces of chaos bring the full destruction of their dark gods down upon the inhabitants of Ulthuan. An epic battle, to be sure. The craziest thing is that not only did we win this, and I wasn't certain we would, there was many fortuitous things that happened here. We were able to attack the army of Elithanar and do significant damage before his reinforcements could arrive, which then allowed me to focus out. Again, we got this pocket of reinforcements first, and then the second pocket of reinforcements. So we were able to kind of focus out the armies individually, which allowed my armies to be stronger. If these High Elf armies had deployed together, I do not think that we would have been able to carry this day. There's only one High Elf prince left there who's attempting to flee, and he's being run down. You can see these Phoenix Guardsmen being run down and dishonorably slaughtered. So the forces of chaos now won a great victory. Just look at the scattered bodies and destruction on the battlefield. What an epic battle, folks. What an epic battle. Folks, when you watched this campaign, did you watch to see someone lose? No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. There's some of you who want me to lose, especially probably Regina on this one since she's such a fan of the High Elves. But we conquered. Now, I don't think the road to Ulthuan is paved in rainbows yet, though that might actually be literally true, considering we're in Ulthuan. But this is a huge victory. It's a huge victory, and the Chaos Gods have to be extremely pleased. We did not lose a single unit. We're going to finish recruiting our Hell Cannons. Alariel is defeated. Tyrion is defeated. Elithanar is defeated. Now, they'll respawn because they're legendary lords. But this is going to give us a chance to hurt the elves badly. Oh boy, we know how these rat ambushes work. So we're ambushed by Treyr. We have no idea what we're up against, but if they're attacking me, I assume we're up against a significantly enormous portion of rats. Oh boy. So Felman Ingerson is to be ambushed by the treacherous clan Mulder. Now, real quickly, I've got to defend my Hell Cannons because they are going to be the key to success here, especially if we're going to end up facing multiple rat stacks. As soon as the battle started, I could see that we're actually only up against one stack by the numbers, which is good, because our army is relatively small by comparison. We're still outnumbered about 4 to 1. In this fight, I quickly rout one of these clan rats, and that's going to allow me to get my infantry into these storm vermin, and I'm going to basically start popping around and just hitting these fights and terrorize the Skaven units. I use my chariots to get an immediate breakthrough, and they're going to go beeline it as fast as they can through the woods, which is pretty slow. For those warp lightning cannons, I can't allow that to happen. Over here in the middle, I've used the Helm of Discord to try and slow down some of the Skaven infantry, and my Hell Cannons are targeted on that blob, and they are in a good position to get some pretty serious work done. See a couple of good Hell Cannon hits, and this infantry blob is no longer very certain that it wants to be in this fight. A little bit of friendly fire coming in there too, but a lot better chance of me killing tons of Skaven. You see the kills quickly racking up for my Hell Cannons. However, a regrouped clan rat is going to beeline it for those Hell Cannons, and I'm going to redirect one of my ogres. You see here my plan coming to fruition. The ogres rear charging the storm vermin with swords and shields. I put some Death Runners to rout, but many of my Forsaken are getting overwhelmed by the sheer number of Skaven here, and it's going to leave Felman and his Cocoa Pox here to fight their way through this. Cocoa Pox looks awesome, by the way, going through all that. I've used Doom and Darkness. It was a little premature because my terrorizing units weren't quite here, and I just lost my infantry when it happened, so the Skaven don't immediately rout. But Cocoa Pox has a special ability that allows him to take away the cooldown on recharging spells. I don't know what's going on with the sound. There's like a repeat of that. So I get a second Doom and Darkness, and this one is extremely timely, as I had a Forsaken charge, ogres, and these Manticores coming through as well. There's some crazy sound going on right now, so we rout the entire center. There's some Plague Monks that were there. They're about the only thing holding on. My chariots come out and mop up the Deathblown Bombardiers. I was able to keep my Hell Cannons safe from the regrouped units with the unit of Trolls. And through the use of Manticores and rear charges, we were able to overcome the 4 to 1 outnumbering for a victory. Folks, do these rats ever learn? Have they won a battle yet? Even in superior numbers? I mean, look at this. They bring the house, and they still can't get it done. Still can't get it done. Storm vermin everywhere. Felman Ingerson has to be one of the least of the Chaos generals here. Not to say that he's nothing. But come on. They just can't get the job done. Despite the huge number of tries. Ooh, Patchy the Eversalt picks up a Talisman of Endurance from that battle. That is huge. We defeated Alethanar, which reduces hero action cost and success chance. Increases the success. Assault units. Failure to wound Sextus. Well, that'd be the first time in history. Let's check out our armies. We are going to have to lick the wounds a little bit, but they are superficial wounds, all things considered. We can get Unworthy here, which is going to put Terror on Sigvald. So, what a victory. He now has 3 Hell Cannons, so the chances of the enemy pulling off victories like that, again, are significantly, or attempting to pull off victories, their chances will be reduced. All those Sisters of Avalorn that like to sit back and shoot us in those big blobs of elite tier infantry will now be getting hammered by a triple Hell Cannon combination. So I don't think that they're going to be loving life the next time they try that kind of garbage on me. So Archaon, I think, has finished recruiting all the troops for the second army here. I think let's double check.
Chaos.
I mean, he's got a full stack of stuff here. So let's take Archaon. Let's give him his army back. What is the extra unit we have here? Where did Sextus? Oh, Sextus is over here. I know we want all these up. All those down, 20 to 20. I think that does it, doesn't it?
My destiny lies
Yeah.
this way.
Now all of Archaon's troops are back on. Look at them. Every last one of them is rank 9. Every last one of them. And that just leaves for our 2 heroes here, which, again, I need you all to help me name. But they're gonna enter Vardek's army. So Vardek's army is now ready to go help diminish any remaining factions that they run into. Again, Archaon needs no help in bringing down Bretonnia. Bretonnia is weak. Extremely weak. So, Castle Baston, I believe, will be the next in my sights. There's a lot of Bretonnians there. They're trying to mount a defense. I've still not figured out what this labor force available per turn is going on and why it's been messed up in Archaon's army. It's like he's been cursed or something. Anybody have any explanation for this? I have a 62 labor force and only 2 of it is available per turn. This is the amount of labor you can use per turn to construct, and the amount you use will be subtracted from the total labor force. I don't get it, like why it's going to take me 3 turns to construct a battering ram. Is this something that Bretonnia researched, perhaps? That makes it to where it takes longer for me to accomplish this kind of stuff? I don't really know what the answer is. Any case, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and besiege the settlement, just because I don't have time to fight it. But we'll start off there on the next episode with Archaon sieging Castle Baston. And we'll take this other army here, and we're going to head south towards Isleheart. If we're attacked by the Fey Enchantress, then so be it. Vardek Krum is not scared of the Fey Enchantress. And what a victory for Felman Ingerson as well. He's only got 18 units in his army, partly I think because we lost one. We lost one right there. Let's see what's in Ingerson's army. We'll definitely want the ability to recruit down this chain. So I'm going to do that. And then let's also go here, get Vardek, the upgrade. We're going to want to buff, let's see, Blessed by Chaos, Warriors Chaos Spawn. We're going to have to do this Blessed by Chaos line here to buff up his Chaos Spawn a little bit. And just to tank this army up a little bit, give it some backbone, I'm going to put a, instead of having, let's actually do this. We'll keep the Aspiring Champions, at least one of them, because this will represent maybe the retinue of the army that came with Felman. But I think we're going to put some Chosen to help make an extra backbone in this army. So I think that'll be a good balance to strike there, give them a little bit of hard-hitting power. Kolek has an opportunity to destroy Manfred. Manfred ran like a schoolgirl. But he can't get away. Put that dragon down, Kolek. Obsidian Lonestone, and we got Moonslaker here. Defeated Manfred, and that minus 50% attrition suffered from vampiric territory. Well, that'll be good, actually, because there's quite a bit of vampiric territory around.
Unstoppable.
I'm gonna scoot across the border right here, because it's just ruins. And then we should be replenishing rather than taking any attrition. I'm gonna smash Frozen Landing and Besornling's camp one last time, and then we'll turn north to finish Helmengorst. What an episode, folks. What an episode. There's still a lot of Bretonnia to destroy, and there's a lot of Ulthuan to fight off, but we've made a significant victory in Ulthuan that will certainly help us towards ultimate victory, hopefully. We don't know exactly what will happen. The elves might be able to replenish and rebuild very quickly. We'll just have to see. But more battles like that, and the epic is sure to continue. I honestly was not certain I was going to win that. It turned out far better than I thought it would because of a few things we were able to capitalize on. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out. Remember, if you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more, and click the bell so you get notified. All those likes and the comments helps me know what to do next, and it also leads to the algorithm being able to drive more people to this video so you can build the community that gets to enjoy it, and I do hope you enjoy it. That's why I make it. HeirofCarthage signing out.